This case involves a former Penn State player now in the NFL, more missing memorabilia, and FedEx, one of the most trusted shipping companies in the world.
And Jason Bristol's most baffling discovery is what FedEx may have done with this player's items after initially claiming it had delivered them.
On the football field, he goes by Nasty Nate. But sitting at his parents' home in State College, Nate Stupar is simply helpless Nate.
Yeah, I feel helpless. I mean, I have no control.
No control over what's happened to his Eagles jersey, game worn, and this 49ers one from last year's Super Bowl. Both mean the world to him, and both have disappeared.
The jerseys do represent a lot.
The last thing Nate heard? FedEx, the company entrusted with delivering them, for some reason, tossed them in the garbage.
I bet they're out there somewhere. They weren't thrown away. No one's going to throw away a Super Bowl jersey.
Not here, not here.
And that's exactly what we thought. That's why nearly every day for the past 4 months, I've been searching the web.
These are all the game-worn jerseys on eBay.
To see if Nate's stuff was possibly stolen and put up for sale.
No.
So far, nothing's turned up.
Nowhere.
It's come to a complete halt.
Stadium Studio in Harrisburg has also been searching for answers. Stupar had his jerseys framed here last year, along with a playoff program signed by his former teammates, Navarro Bowman and Patrick Willis. Once the framing was finished, the items were boxed up, shipped out, and delivered through FedEx to Nate's parents' house in State College.
So I texted them and called them like, hey, do you guys get my jerseys at all? And they're like, no.
And here's where the story gets really messy.
So I called my 2 brothers, no. My 2 sisters, no. Their significant others, no. I'm like, what?
So FedEx says it was delivered, and then they come back and say it wasn't delivered?
Yep.
When Stadium Studio called about its whereabouts, shipped on August 13th and delivered on August 31st, was suddenly replaced by phrases like refused by recipient, damaged, and unable to deliver.
Let's see, 076.
And just as confusing, enter the tracking number now on the website, and the package is still in transit. The last known location? It was back at this FedEx facility in Lewisberry, York County, on August 16th. Remember, this FedEx log had it delivered on the 31st.
It still showed proof of delivery. Delivery date, 8/31.
Stadium Studio says in the past, FedEx has returned damaged packages to its store, minus the glass inside from the frames for safety reasons, but the jerseys have always been fine. This time, though, Stadium Studio claims FedEx's local pickup and delivery manager told them Nate's priceless, one-of-a-kind items were thrown in the trash.
What they've tried to say is that the piece was damaged beyond repair and that their company policy is to throw it away. That is absolutely incorrect.
So what is FedEx's policy regarding damaged items?
I'm calling in regards to a story I'm working on.
That is just one of the questions.
Did FedEx really throw these items away?
We want it answered. After calling the local FedEx,
Okay, no comment then.
and corporate headquarters, sending numerous emails, we finally got a response. In an email, FedEx telling me all shipments are important to them, that it's not their policy to discuss the details of our customers' shipments, and it works directly with customers to assist them on their specific issue, and if necessary, begin the claims process. Both Stadium Studio and Nate believe FedEx hasn't done enough. Nasty Nate, while helpless, is also hopeful Nate. Hopeful that his jerseys and program are still out there, ready to be returned.
I just want them back. I mean, money can't replace a Super Bowl jersey.
Wow, how frustrating.
Yeah, and it can't replace a Super Bowl jersey. From feeling the force of an immovable object.
What happens inside these walls doesn't always stay inside these walls.
Going over's fun, coming down, not so fun.
That's just life for receivers playing arena football. There's dozens and dozens of videos on YouTube showing guys being slammed into a sidewall or running out of real estate. Either way, the wall wins.
Obviously, the wall is undefeated. Everyone that's been over it or been into it has come up with a loss.
And losing hurts. Bumps, bruises, broken bones, walls cause them all, making even the toughest customers very afraid.
I am. Gotta be. Because I'm definitely terrified that I might run into it or get hurt.
And actually, the wide receivers on the Stampede have it pretty good because these walls are not filled with water and they have a little give to them.
On the other hand, the padding doesn't always stay on. What's a receiver see? We put a camera on both Scorpio Brown and Collis Martin. This is what happens in practice. During a game, they may have only tenths of a second to make the catch and brace themselves for contact. The secret to staying safe?
Just anticipation. Just basically anticipation. Knowing where the other guy is, knowing how close you are to it.
They also know this: where there's a will, there's a way. Where there's a wall, anything can happen, and that's what the fans want.
Of course, it's entertainment. I know if I was sitting in the stands, I want to see everyone flip on the wall every play.
I mean, this game is fast-paced. Everybody's flying around. Anybody can run through the wall, over the wall. You know, it's part of the game. This is what you signed up for.
Yeah, these guys know the wall is part of the deal.
With bulging biceps that stretch cotton to its very limit, 14-year-old Bill Williams is the most manly freshman around. And while age is just a number to most of us, to him, it's part of an ongoing mystery packed inside this very chiseled ninth grader.
Do you ever wonder how old you really are?
Sometimes I do.
Here we go.
How does someone not know their age? Well, this football star, Bill Williams, the kid with the All-American name and the All-American game, is not All-American. Bill was rescued from the civil wars in Liberia, Africa, a place where guns are everywhere and hardly any children are given birth certificates.
But he is a polite kid. He came that way. And
Phyllis Williams, a very sweet lady, adopted Bill and others. She was told Bill was only 5.5 years old. Little Bill then quickly took to football, and kids have been chasing him ever since. In middle school, he seemed to score every time he touched the ball. His very first carry for the varsity, he went 65 yards for a touchdown. And Phyllis is always there, cheering. She's never been a big sports fan, but even she realizes that Bill is
been one of the better players on his team all along, so it doesn't surprise me, but it is, of course, bigger now that he's in high school.
He keeps getting bigger, too, bench pressing more than 300 pounds. And with every extra play, questions start piling up, too.
The most popular one is how do you get so big? And I try to tell them it's like mostly genetics.
But this strong, this fast, this young, even Bill wonders sometimes, is the birthday he knows not a day or a year, but simply an estimate?
I'm going by what's on his birth certificate, and it says he's 14, and we're going to list him as 14.
Coach Frank Gay says what we don't know about Bill pales in comparison with what we do know.
Bill has that drive that he doesn't want to be good, he wants to be great.
Bill Williams is always smiling, adored by everyone at school, and most of all, he is thankful.
I just so happen to be like one of the luckier ones to come here and like get a new start, basically. So I gotta like start my life over.
Lucky? Let us count the ways, and the days, too.
And Tanya, where Bill is from, Liberia, less than 5% of the kids there have birth certificates, so it is an issue there for a variety. A group of friends are just along for the ride.
It is destroying the environment one lap at a time. Al Gore would definitely give that a thumbs down. But to these car guys, this rusted out 85 Mercury Cougar is a dream machine. Better than any curvy Corvette or luxurious Lamborghini.
You know, the car performs, it's reliable, it's fast, it does what it needs to do.
For years, it wasn't doing anything, just sitting in a field. Now, this old grocery getter runs 150 miles an hour, hugs corners, and makes these regular Joes feel like NASCAR drivers.
The only difference between what we do and what they do is there's nobody in the stands.
Well, that's not the only difference. Their car, surprise, surprise, costs $500. They're all like that on the Chump Car series. Endurance races that last 12, 14, even 24 hours. for the 100 or so rust buckets, tin cans, and leftover lemons, and the weekend warriors that drive them. Each of these guys takes a turn behind the wheel of this car, which isn't easy getting in and out of, as I found out.
How do you get in there?
They say being inside is such a rush, and things fly by so fast, they never get tired.
How do you make it go so fast?
It's just a strategic pile of parts.
Parts like an old V8 engine that delivers a whopping 6 miles to the gallon, a spoiler made from street signs, and lights that shine sometimes. And that paint job, and the Muppet on the roof, and the stuffed squirrel staring out the back. Does anyone take this car seriously?
You show up and there's a bunch of BMWs and exotic imports, and we can get there and smoke them. That's the best part.
It better be. Winners take home a grand prize of $800. That doesn't even cover gas. And these guys should know. Here they are celebrating their latest victory, Daytona. Their collection of trophies looks right at home. If their living room was decorated by the Terminator. But what really inspires them, it's this opportunity to do something most of us could never do, much less afford, unless our last name was Gordon or Earnhardt.
We're paying way, way less than any other form of motorsports to be able to get on the tracks like Watkins Glen or Daytona.
Racing, some recycling, winning. I think Big Al would agree. These guys aren't chumps after all.
When a minor league team wore a special jersey earlier this month dedicated to Abraham Lincoln's Gettysburg Address, one historian knew he had to get one for today's anniversary. But here's a question. Would the former president give his seal of approval?
When you run into Honest Abe,
Hello, Mr. Lincoln.
you're expecting an honest answer.
I was hoping I could get your opinion on something.
Absolutely.
How does our 16th president feel about being on a 21st century hockey jersey?
I knew that I wanted to bring it here.
Bjorn Skaptason had to have this special edition jersey worn by the Bakersfield Condors minor league team because it addresses the Gettysburg Address. Bjorn just happens to work at the Abraham Lincoln Bookshop in Chicago. The hockey team told a Bakersfield TV station it will never forget that phone call.
His caller ID comes up Abraham Lincoln. That's a call you take.
It was Bjorn. He bought the jersey, then agreed to take pictures for the team from the spot where Lincoln gave his famous speech and in front of this monument honoring soldiers from California. All over Gettysburg, the jersey has been a hit.
Certainly this is one of the unique pieces.
Dan Weinberg owns the Lincoln Bookshop. Both he and Bjorn believe Lincoln would be cool with all this, even with the ads on the shoulders and a condor wearing a big black hat.
And I think he would have been enormously amused that most Americans cannot go through a 24-hour day without seeing his image.
And guess what? Bjorn was right. Lincoln likes it, honestly.
I'm fond of it. I endorse it.
Awesome.
I endorse it.
Thank you very much.
He's fond of it.
A junior from Sinking Spring, number 12, Andrew Sandridge.
At this soccer game, you can run, but you cannot hide from the fellows with the marshmallows. And the young ladies, and the kids too. Only when Elizabethtown College meets Messiah is using a linesman as target practice accepted.
We gotta pace ourselves.
And expected.
We'll restock at halftime.
Marshmallows are everywhere in this must-see event, the Marshmallow Bowl.
It's on the bucket list. It is on the bucket list.
And on the shopping list, mini marshmallows, jet-puffed ones. Great value's good too.
Let's go Blue Jays!
Marshmallows are supposed to start flying after the home team scores its first goal. Now, they don't stop.
And just being in front of all these guys, you are asking for it.
I knew that would happen, but would you believe these fans also aim for their own players? The field is too far away to do any real damage, but this is still a sticky situation for other reasons. In the past, the colleges have tried to ban the marshmallow.
We wouldn't be here at all.
It didn't work then, it wouldn't work now.
We would still bring the marshmallows.
This time, Elizabethtown College simply let the fans have their fun. It just wishes they'd eat it, too.